Welcome to Plantish Live, fam. I'm Nina Curtis. My co-host Cecibek Randall and I go live Tuesdays, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So here we are on another Tuesday, Take Care of Business Tuesday, Taco Tuesday, and Plantish Tuesday. If this is your first time joining us, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are going to get started. Chef is to have her join us. She's a busy woman, and she's taken time, and made time, let's speak, to come in and join us. Hello, Chef. What it do?
Hi, Chef. All is
How are you?
good. How are you?
You know, it's Tuesday, and we are rocking and rolling, and we are getting up and making it happen. Making it happen.
Absolutely.
I'm so thrilled to have our guest join us today. You know, the month of May highlights so many wellness topics, and they cover from, Better Sleep Month, Women's Health Month, Mental Health Month, and Digestive Health Month. I don't know how many wellness health months in May we can have, but I think we picked and chosen and reached out to one of the premier herbalists, certified herbalists, and health practitioners. I would say definitely on the globe with us. She is the co-owner of Nappily Naturals and Apothecary. I see her partner, Umaar, is here with us. So welcome, 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 Sharon and Umaar Askia. We are thrilled to have you here. Chef Randall, please meet them. Chef Randall has been vegan since birth. You know, I'm trying to get my black card coming up. My 25 years are here, but we do what we do. How are you both doing?
We're doing okay. We're doing good. I heard him say, you say he was vegan. I'm also vegan, but last night, for the first time, I ate a burger.
We do
And
what we do.
I'm paying for it now.
Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh.
I'm paying for it now.
Well, if
I wanted
I,
to try. I was like, and so my stomach and everything is just
yeah.
anyway. But yeah, we're doing good. Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Oh, thank you. Listen, if I had done what you did, I would want to be you because you are the person to know what to do. So I think you're in good hands with yourself. Umaar, how are you
Well,
doing?
I'm blessed. I'm blessed. We have been
Yes.
on this journey for a minute, but just the ability to interact with people is beautiful. But I'm great, and also my wife. Great.
I love it. We're going to get into your story. You know, I lived in View Park for 15 years and I relocated up north. I was recruited. So I must have been going out while you were coming in 2018, like ships in the night.
Oh, okay. Yes,
Oh,
yes,
okay.
yes.
Yeah, because I used to walk to Leimert Park from my home, for the farmers market. And yeah, 15 years back then, that's a long time.
Yes.
I'm fifth generation Los Angeles, so
Okay.
that's how I rock and roll. But welcome everyone coming
Thank
in. If you're just coming
you.
in, yes, and fam in the chat. We have a very, very vibrant and active chat. So people will be leaving comments. Chef Cecibek and I will be checking in. If you want to ask Sharon or Umaar any questions, please drop them in the chat. We'll make sure that they get answered. This is not, if you're going to ask a question, ask general. Do not ask something specific about your particular health concern, because this is not a practitioner to consumer situation. So we won't do that live because that could get us restricted. I just want to put that out there. So please keep your comments general or ask in third person. We're going to rock and roll. So Sharon and Umaar, I feel like, Chef, we're getting, two for the price of one here. This is exciting. Tell us, I know a little bit, and I want to say congratulations on recently renewing your vows. That was so beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, that was a wonderful experience. Yes, yes.
So maybe let's start there. Let's start with how you met, which I know, and kind of bring it up to the highlights of you sitting here with us now, because I've reached out to a lot of my LA peeps and I'm like, tune into this. Do you know they're in Leimert Park? And some have said yes, and some have said no. So we want to blast this out because we will do a lot of things to spread the word. So, yeah, tell us a little about your story.
Okay. Well, we met 2007, immediately married. We both were on this healing and holistic journey. I come from a background of the rural South, Mississippi. Um, so it was, it was a perfect match, So immediately after we got together, we started to give birth to this thing that we didn't know, but we both were drawn to health and wellness and healing. And I noticed my wife, she would always drink African Rooibos tea, black seed. Sometimes she'll sprinkle cardamom, and I loved it. And then so I suggested she should share it with her friends, and then it kind of snowballed from there. And then in between that time, we traveled a lot, and everywhere we would go to shops, and we're foodies, so we'll go to vegan restaurants, all kind of shops all throughout the United States. And every time we would go, we would always say, "Oh, we're going to have this in our store." But at that time, we had no interest in opening. It was a fantasy. But all the while, we're living this lifestyle. So ultimately, we wanted to share it with other people. And I'll let her take it from there.
Yeah, and to piggyback off of that, for me, it started way back when. I was always a sickly child, um, always in and out of the hospitals, So, and then my grandmother was an herbalist, but at the time, that's not something you recognize. I can remember her having all these herbs and plants in her garden that she would give us all the time when we got sick, and the castor oils and this nasty brown liquid and all of these things. But as I got older, I kind of moved away from that, and I was on medication. And it wasn't doing anything. It was just making me sicker. And then I met someone, and it came back full circle, where they told me to go and to this lady in South Africa, and ask for some red robos, as he mentioned, and black seeds. And I would say by that first week, I could feel a shift, in my internal environment, when I started that cup. And so those herbs, and so that is really one of our house signature blends. Rooibos tea, black seed, honey bush, and cardamom. So that is Nappily Naturals house signature blend. And then we met. So then I started utilizing those herbs, trying to heal myself, and I saw that it was working. I was having, which a lot of us have, a lot of generalized anxiety. And so it's very calming. I was able to drive. I was having panic attacks and this and that. So I'm really big on that blend for full body. And so, getting back to when we met, he was like, "Well, you need to start sharing this with other people." I really didn't want to as an introvert. I was just, no, I don't want to do all that. I'm not a, people person. I don't do all of that. I just wanted, stay in house. But he convinced me. And then, like I said, we started going out and just speaking these things into existence, not really believing it would happen. We're going to have a store, and then we're going to do this. And then we watched Nappily Ever After with Sanaa Lathan, and
Mm.
we created our first hair oil. That's where it started. We went into a small little space in a beauty shop, and then 6 months later, we are where we are now at Nappily Natural. So, and that's how it all happened.
I love that for you. And I know you said, Omar, that you guys married quickly or immediately afterwards. That was like 2 weeks, right? Let's narrow it down
Yes,
for those that
yes,
are
yes.
hopeless
You remember
romantics
that?
out there that
Okay,
that
okay.
don't think it's possible.
Right. Well, actually, it's a part of our long tradition,
Yeah.
as African people and indigenous people. We've always had a form of ceremony of bonding two families together.
Yeah.
However, being in this country, we at times get separated from our culture, and then we get inundated with uh, secular culture.
Yes.
And when we go back to our culture, just like with the food, eating closer to nature, so is our social and cultural connection. So, my family, background is Muslim, and that's a requirement. I mean, you can court. So after we met in Food for Less. 2 weeks later, I was already ready. So she invited me home to meet everyone, and it was almost like a intimidation, right? And I was like, okay, I'm ready for this. So I sat in the chair everybody in the front room, cousins asking questions. And I don't know if it was new, but you know, we were raised that way. We have to. So her son gave her away at the wedding. And yeah, that was 2007. Yeah.
Wow.
I love that. And you bring up such a point, an important point in sharing that from a cultural aspect. The things I've read and what I've watched in your interviews with Nappily Naturals and the Apothecary, there is a cultural foundation based on it. You're rooted in African American herbalism. You've created, Sharon and Umaar, over 200 products and herbal protocols. That's a massive amount of products, no matter how large the company. So you talked about, the honey bush, the rooibos, the black sesame seed oil. I think many of us, or enough, maybe not enough of us, but I'm very familiar with those herbs and I've been taking them. And I think we all have hopefully someone in our family that was rooted, that was growing their herbs, that had tinctures going on. My grandma would do laying of the hands and lay you down and remove a headache by just having her hands hovering over you. And then back then they used some rubbing alcohol, but we still use those things. So can you tap into, at the point you thought it was just a dream, to the point you said, no, we're taking on the lease. We've got the shop in Leimert Park. We're doing this. How did it look to you? Like, how would you get started at that seedling, let's say, to now having over 200 products and protocols?
So we initially, when I said we started with our first hair oil, we wanted to get back to nature in every way. So most of our products are toxic free, made with food, plants, and herbs, because we know that there is this, a lot of us are dealing with a lot of health issues, especially as African American people. There's a lot of chemicals in a lot of the products in our hair care products. Back in the day, we're moving more natural now, but back then, all we had in the stores was all of these, ingredients, which consisted of just chemicals, and it was causing a lot of health issues, especially, in our reproductive systems. And so we didn't know that until years later, decades later. And so we were like, my husband and I, we would have to go search for these type of products outside of our community. And so we was like, well, we need something in this community. We want to start educating our people. We want to start bringing us back to natural. We want to start healing some of those things. And so we were like, okay, well then we have to be the change that we wanted to see in this community. And so we started with one hair care product, one hair care item, which was a do-it-yourself hair oil, which is one of our popular blends today. It's a lock and natural hair spray. So it consists of a lot of natural ingredients, essential oils, and things like that. And then he was like, well, he started packaging the what is it, Peace and Harmony blend, which is the rooibos, the cardamom, the black seed. And so that was our first blend that we started, we incorporated into the business. 6 months later, it kind of happened so fast. We actually were in a small space in a little beauty shop, and we walked through Leimert Park, and where we are now was occupied, but it was no tenant there. And so we put our hand there, was like, this is the future store of Nappily Naturals, right? And 6 months later, they contacted us and I was like, hey, do you want this space? And we were like, yeah. And so it kind of all came to us, right? It kind of happened like that. But that's how it actually started. And then our grand opening, we invited Tabitha Brown. So she came out, her and her whole family. And it just took off from there. People want to heal. People want to get back to wellness. People want to be educated outside of what they're getting from their doctors and, things like that in the allopathic world.
And one catalyst was COVID, because once COVID dropped, um, everyone was in a state of shock. And I was raised having apprehension on institutional medicine as a child. So for me, it wasn't about, running to someone other than ourselves for a solution. Our family, we fell back and said, okay, we have to make sure we use nutrients, health to protect ourselves. And we stayed constant with that. And, yeah, we got sick. but we built immunity with it, and no problem. And those techniques we seen in the beginning of COVID, we noticed there was no type of vitamin D in the area. So we knew that that was something that we had to change. We wanted to make sure the community had access to all the tinctures, and so we just started immediately sourcing all of the natural herbs and blends. Yeah.
Yeah, during COVID, we started creating more of our blends. And I see someone asked, what is for the flu? That's general. So we do have a blend called Respiratory Rescue, which we started ourselves, that we created for our family. And then we started seeing that it was actually helping other people. So I would say generally, elderberry, ginger, echinacea, these things. And a lot of those ingredients are in our blend.
And I want to let everybody know, because we have, people in here and we're watching the questions. Thank you for catching that one. Sharon, you do ship throughout the United States?
We do. We
Okay.
ship all over, yes.
And I've pinned the website, fam, so nappillynaturals.com, and you can be, a lot of our fam, when they come into our chats, they're checking out the website and possibly ordering. So, if you said echinacea and the respiratory, somebody might already be snatching it up, and that's what we want to happen. Based on now 7 years in with experience and 200 plus products and protocols, what are, let's say, maybe the top 3, top 5 most asked for? What are the trends you're seeing with how people, because I also know that you have high testimonies, great testimonials with people really seeing results, and that's a part of medicine. It's food is medicine, herbs are food. And so, Chef and I are vegan, plant-based chefs. And so we know I do raw vegan, cooked vegan, Chef does the same. But what are some of the main things you're seeing, and what you can share with the audience? We will put this session up as a replay, so we get a lot of people that watch this afterwards. Right. So, they're going to be waiting for your wisdom and your recommendations. And fam, again, you can order from nappillynaturals.com. So don't think you have to be in Leimert Park or even in Los Angeles. This is universal, and we're so excited to have you here. So what are those top remedies that people are requesting, and how does that inspire you or your thoughts of other blends to keep bringing to the community?
Right. Well, the foundation of wellness, we often educate the community that you start with the herbs, but it has to permeate to all of your food sources, and it's not elimination. We don't promote elimination. We promote replacement. So from the sugars to the rice to the oils, the seed oils. So we try to have a bridge, and then from there, we attack the easily low hanging fruit, and that's the sweet, the glucose. So a person can come into the store and get a blend, but their whole home may have all this toxic stuff. So that's a gateway to say, okay, yeah, you have this, but okay, now we have to talk about your olive oils, your seed oils. And then once they get into that and start dealing with the taste and the flavor, and then the hybrid, and then it's more convenient for us to then, when my wife sit down with them, she gives them the I would say sour sop is a trend. Sea moss right now is very high. Um,
Yeah, a lot of what we're seeing is a lot of metabolic issues, the blood sugar, diabetes, the anxiety, which is understandable, cancer, um, and so high blood pressure, that's seem like it's just normal in our community. And so we've created those plans. I've had all of those in my family, from my mother to my father who had cancer. Um, Sorry, we have a gardener, and we didn't expect him to come today.
Don't
Well, no,
worry, we're living
here.
our life.
So, cancer, diabetes, heart disease. I'm getting a lot of kidney issues. So we started formulating these blends. And a lot of, like I said, my family members, and I'm more of a intuitive, and an empath. And so a lot of our blends, for me and my son, is the same way. It comes intuitively. Like, we can actually kind of feel some of our customers and know what to put together. A lot of times we'll create a blend and it works, and then they'll come back and it's like, oh, I need this refill. And I'm like, I don't remember what I gave you. That was in the spirit at that moment. But yeah, so those are the ones. But like my husband said, soursop is a trend, sea moss, just strengthening your immune system. That's what we want to start. You want to do detoxing. People want to do parasite cleanse, once or twice a year. So it's just, it could be, it's a broad, it's very, it's a range of different issues that we encounter on a daily basis.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine. I just want, anybody listening to us to realize that there is more than likely an herbal product or an herbal blend, even if it's a signature herb out there that can assist them. And it doesn't necessarily mean they have to change their whole
Right.
world,
Right.
in a blink of an eye or overnight, but it's a subtle way
Yeah.
of healing.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you also offer consultations over online?
We
It's
we
a
do. So we do consultations in store. We can do it online over Zoom or something like that, over the phone. But we prefer to see the person, visual. So I want to see the person so I can kind of read. And so, but yeah, we do all of that. We don't have that. We're redoing our website. So if they will want a consultation, they can always DM me or call the store, and then they'll give them my information. And then we have like 3 herbalists there. Amazing. I don't know if you met any of them, but we
not
have
yet.
Justin, we have Chris and Cheyenne, but myself and my son Chris, we're the ones who does the consultations.
Oh, it's awesome that your son's in the business.
Yeah, we have most of our family, our children working for us.
Okay.
And that's a blessing in and of
Yeah,
itself.
yeah, definitely.
That is definitely a blessing. Keep family in it
Hmm.
when you can.
Yeah.
When you can.
Well, you can.
And that's a part of the holistic healing. It's not about only the self. It's been scientifically proven that if you're in a better social environment, your healing process and your purges and cleanses will be strengthened. Our environment plays a huge part. The home should be a place of peace, cleanliness, serenity. We're already dealing with so much toxicity. We have to create the environment. And that's one of the things, being connected with nature. We teach you have to get in a relationship with your food. And as technology skyrocket, we have to have a handhold, or a percentage of the society has to have a handhold in nature and be that group that at least can connect. Oh no, this is real. Yeah, that's a hybrid. That's just like the griots, but we have to do it with the food.
Right, right, right. Chef Sesabek, I see you nodding. I know this is just tapping and making you dance because I said you were vegan since birth, but this goes 2 generations back. Your grandmother and grandfather, and then your mother, then you. So,
Yeah.
what are you feeling? Do you see any comments that we need to catch?
Yes. So I just want to first say thank you so much, Umar and Sharon, for just coming and sharing your love and wisdom with the group here. So much of what you said is resonating, and I can't wait to rewatch the replay so that I can just take notes and just really take in what's being shared here. But let's just scan the comments really quick. Their herbs in store is the truth from Katrina. I visited their store in LA from San Antonio. Beautiful. Abdullah, can you suggest anything for growing ankle and knee pain?
um, I mean, yeah, it for me, I would always ask, is there any swelling, and the nature of the source of it, because there's different herb blends that we have for different things. We would have to put like, something for like cat's claw or corn silk and something that may have a swelling to it. So it's just general. We do have a blend called joint support, and that is going to help with any inflammation. We use that for people with arthritis. We use that for people with, let me see, not specifically, I would say autoimmune issues, right? And so, and then, like I said, we would add the cat's claw, the devil's claw to that, which will, yeah, the turmeric has turmeric in there, and the ginger and the black pepper. So it's a really well-rounded blend. So I would say joint support for that.
Thank you for that. And we're talking in general. We can't prescribe, even though Sharon is a certified herbalist and health practitioner in this environment, but she, I think, spoke very directly, generally. And so tap in on that. I hope you're taking notes. I hope everybody's sipping on tea or something that is calming. What are you drinking, Sharon?
Oh yeah, I'm drinking. I start every morning with some type of tea that's going to help my digestive system, right? We want to move in the morning. So, but right now, because of what I did last night, somebody sent a TikTok video of this restaurant called Smash Burger, and I was like, it was just going against my better judgment. And so I did it. My husband, I'm paying for it. This is fennel. This is fennel and ginger.
Nice.
And I was having some nausea, and so it's amazing. I'm feeling very good now.
Yes, yes. Fennel is wonderful for the digestive system and ginger. Umaar, what are you chewing on over there? You're
Well,
making us all hungry.
for me, I start my breakfast is always fresh fruit.
Okay.
It keeps me regular. I'm 55, going on 56, so I have found what worked well with me and my physiological system is fruits in the morning. So that keeps me regular. Also, spring water, room temperature, spring water, room temperature. And, we at our farm, we're right now growing, we have a peach orchard and we're going to be doing peach preserve. And our twist with that, we're going to add, more holistic ingredients, maybe like a little cacao, a little maca, the same, to try to introduce it into the population.
Let's tap into that farm because it's not just a farm, right? It's long term looking to be a farm
Mm-hmm.
retreat. Is that correct?
Yes.
So let's tap into that so the fam knows what to look for. And please follow Nappily Naturals if you haven't yet here on Instagram. Please grab their nappillynaturals.com website. Yes, website. And go ahead, Umaar. Thank you.
Well, we have our intentions is this summer is to launch our wellness retreat, a 7-acre farm in Texas, where we have 6-bedroom, 2-bath, and sauna, steam room, healing modality. So right now we're finishing one of the ADU units, and then we're going to start on the spa and the jacuzzi, and then we'll have the area for meditation, sound bowl. However, I just want to throw up to the family is that the mandate is for all of us to do what we can to develop a better connection with nature wherever we are. But I think it's mandated. It's a lot of things going on in the world. Food security is very important, and for us, that's dealing with holistic living and raw food, real food. We know that things expire rapidly. So that's another piece we want to work on lifting up. Okay, how do you have a preserved pantry with sustainable nutrients and calorie intake if the grid goes down? What do you do? Because if you're living a holistic lifestyle, grid goes down and you're resulted to canned food, you're gonna be sick. You're gonna be sick. So, what are the practices to prepare to make sure you have freeze dried fruit powders everywhere? What do you need? Practice that. So yeah, we want to get into that at the farm as well. Show how to do those things.
Do you have, I love that, protocols on your website anywhere about that specific thing, being ready for anything that we're not expecting, such as the grid going down?
Right.
Or do
We
you
have,
have products that you're
yeah,
selling?
yes, we
Okay.
do. We have, we have survival kits that
Okay.
we put together, and the biggest thing is the freeze drying and the preserving. The food absorption packs we have, and we want to show that even the food that you consume today, you can always take a portion of a meal, freeze dry it. If it's fruits, vegetables, whatever you're eating, freeze dry it, and then you can. There's a process to make. Okay, so now that's your storage, or you can deal with the rice and the beans and the dehydrated, and you can make those into little powders. So yeah, we do. The site is under construction. We do have our site up, but we're getting ready to launch a new site.
Yeah, and my sister-in-law, she's in Texas, and so she's well versed. She's been canning for years. And so I went there and she taught me how to can, and so we did a video. So this is another thing that I want to bring to the community so we can, it's not just for now, it's for like if something happens, you can survive, you can sustain yourself and your family. How they used to do, over the fence. You got some sugar, you got this. And so we
Yes.
want to bring that back, you know what I mean? So we'll be putting that on the video, putting that on the website as well of how to can and teaching people that this is very important.
Wonderful. Yeah, it is very important. We need to stay ready so we don't have to get ready.
That's
And I
right.
say that all the time. Fam, if you're just coming in, we are here, Plantish, and we are speaking with Sharon and Umaar Askia of Nappily Naturals and Apothecary. They were just dropping gems about their farm retreat that's coming. So please tap in with them, grab their website that I've pinned, and follow them here on Instagram if you haven't yet. Chef Sesabek, I know we like to do this with our guests and, just break up the conversation a little bit. So take it away for me.
Absolutely. So I have a few questions here. We call it the quick fire. You can answer these within 30 seconds, a couple sentences, however you're feeling. So the first question I have for the both of you is, what's one herb you always keep in your personal herb bar?
For me, it would be ginger. For
Ooh.
ginger. That's for everything. you know.
For me,
Yeah.
it's two. It's lion's mane and black seed oil, lion's
Yeah.
mane extract and black seed.
Oh, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Dropping the gems. The next question I have for you two are favorite morning ritual or herbal teas to start the day?
Uh, Go ahead.
Favorite morning ritual, which I've just started recently because we're so busy, is I have to make sure that I take time for myself before I can give. So before I even get out of bed, like the good thing about having an upstairs, downstairs, he's the early bird. I'm not. He gets up, he goes downstairs, and then I'm able to just stay upstairs, um, meditate, do some breath work, and then I'm able to come out of that room. And because I know once I am, it's like,
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
emails and this and that. So you have to get in a habit of self care first. Otherwise, you're going to be depleted. So that's what I do. Start my day for myself. Twice a week, I will take time for myself. No business, anything like that, because you got to have that balance. You don't want to always stay in fight or flight mode, right? You got to have that balance. And so for me, like I said before, it's going to be either getting up, drinking warm water, but I'm always starting with some type of digestive aid because, the food that before you went to bed, you want to make sure these things are processed out. So you don't want to get up in the morning and eat, putting this heavy food back into something that hasn't eliminated, and then we have these gut issues. So please, warm water or some type of ginger tea, fennel, some type of digestive aid.
Sharon, can you expand just a little bit? Because people say, oh, I'm going to have breakfast, but it really means break fast, right? In the
Yes. So
sense, yeah.
yes. So I try to eat before 8 because I know the body is going to start processing, between 9 and 3 in the morning, and then elimination starts around 4. So, and that's a lot of time we're waking up, and some signal that is liver, so we're processing. So I try to stop eating before 8 o'clock, because the body is going to start processing your food, the nutrients, whatever you've taken in, your herbs. And so in the morning, from 4 to like 12, that is your elimination period. And they're breaking it with more heavy foods. So we were used to the eggs and the bacon and the pancakes, which I love. But I found that, it will block your absorption, your digestive system, and you're full, you don't have that energy. If you start practicing that and understanding, like my husband with this, in the mornings, you want to start cleansing. You have to start cleansing the body out. So he's doing berries, he's doing cherries and things like that. You do lemon water, you can do ginger tea. We want to start eliminating. And then at 12 is when you eat your first meal,
if at all.
if at
Yes.
all. A lot of times we take CMOS, and I could go a whole day because of the energy that it gives you. And it's cell food. So it's actually, you're getting minerals. So that's what your cells need, is minerals. So when you eat CMOS, you're going to have that energy because you're not hungry, because your cells have been fed
Right.
properly.
And I just want to say real briefly, each dietary habit is like the fingerprint. And we want to lift up, each person has to, because what works for you may not transition, but at least the basis has to be clean. The staples, that's the focus. You can drink all the, all of these things and take these supplements, and if your staples are toxic, that's what's going to win out. So looking at, how you can transition to the pure, the whole food, but it's a technique. Yeah, it's a technique.
Start small, one at a time, break fast.
Umaar, we're not going to miss you. What's your ritual? Because you're the early bird.
Well, for me, it's definitely prayer, and through prayer, I receive gratitude, and everything from that point, it's a blessing. It's a work of service. Just being able to be alive and interact with our people, and to be there. I always say, oh, how I don't see how a person could actually own a liquor store. I mean, because the level of high we receive every day by helping our people, you see them walk out, they upright, and how could you own something that when they walk out the store, they may not make it across the street by the product you just sold them. And it's like, wow, this opportunity, and I think that's the beauty of being in this field. I mean, just to try to give people the best that they can receive on this planet.
It's absolutely beautiful. Wow. So many things to take away from what you both just said. But I just love how you start the day with grounding and filling your cup up before you go out into the world and pour into others. That's so beautiful. Next question.
And we
Uh,
were long-winded.
and I
Say
think
food.
and you guys intuitively answered this, but if you would like to add on, herbal pick me up. You reach for when you need a boost.
Mm.
I would say my herbal pick me up. The thing about, okay, I'm just going to answer this for general, because for me, I try to always stay in a place of peace. I'm like more of an introvert, reserved. So I love the feeling of peace that I have. And I know how to bring myself back, right? But I would say for anybody else, I love rhodiola. So it could be a stimulant, but it's also good for mood balancing, right? So rhodiola is one of my favorite herbs to go to when I need that balance, to have that energy, but also I'm still maintaining in that peace and grounding.
Yeah. For me, it's yerba mate, robos, honeybush. It's a good, I operate at 70, and I have to, so for me, if I want to go over that, I just,
So we balance each other. I kind of bring him down, like it's kind of high up there, and then like, babe, you need to do more.
Yeah.
So to have that
And
balance.
and that's why we always say by watching our own situation, you know, we're too different physiologically. So is we take very care in saying what you do, you have to find out how your body relates and interact with that herb, you know, because yerba mate may have you too up, so you may have to tone it down a little bit with rooibos or honeybush.
Beautiful. Wow. Wow. I'm digesting what you're saying as you're speaking, and I'm like, okay, you're in this too. You have to remember the questions. uh, the next question I have for you too: a lesser known herb from your shop you'd love more people to try.
For me, I think it's Essiac. Essiac is a it's more than one herb, but it's a blend. It has a plethora of benefits, especially with a lot of the symptoms that's in the community right now. That's one.
Umar, would you spell that for people so they can jot it down?
Uh,
Because I know I could tell people are like, what did he say?
Essiac. It's
Thank you.
called Essiac tea.
Thank you.
Um, yeah.
Beautiful.
Let me see. Our community is so knowledgeable. So when they come in, it's really not a lesser known herb in there that they are not aware of, right? Um, but I'm trying to go back to,
Well, think about somebody that's going to the website right now and they haven't been able to physically come in. They haven't been educated by you. They haven't been, blessed in your energy. What might you direct them to in a general manner that you would wish more people that aren't physically with you would know about?
so I would say out of our blends, which I would suggest because of where we are now in the world, and what's happening, mind, body, and soul, it would be three different blends that I would refer them to: peace and harmony. So that's mood balancing. It also, Robos is good for the blood. So it's, you can have for blood pressure. The second one would be respiratory rescue, which is what we created during COVID. And then the third one would be our immunity. So we're going to boost the immune system. And so that's going to help on all fronts. So those would be my three favorite herbs blends that I would suggest.
Thank you. Thank you.
Beautiful. Wow. Last question I have for you two. Tell us one fun or surprising way to use an herb in everyday life.
Um, there's quite a few. Real briefly, there's an herb called, or root, it's called kava kava. And you mix kava kava, a little rhodiola, and a couple of myceliums, and you can have a nice little pick me up. And then you put blue lotus, sprinkle some blue.
Let's
you,
go. Let's
yeah,
go.
yeah.
Yeah.
Then you put tungut and no, let me stop.
Who needs alcohol when you can feel so good spiritually, mentally, emotionally with herbs, fam?
That's
This
right.
is what we're talking about. And thank you, Sharon and Omar, for really just letting us know. We have so much that they are offering, and we have so much to us. But if we don't know about it,
Right.
knowledge is
Yes.
power, but not really until you know what to do with it.
Right.
And for us as African people, community is a way that we learn and educate each other. And we have to make sure wherever we are, whatever state, whatever city, we are interacting with the cultural community that brings us peace. Because a lot of our illnesses are the cause is stress, anxiety, depression, and it can come from work, home. A lot of times it's not coming from the home, it's coming from the environment. You know, you're a black man driving from A to B, it's a component of stress. And then you start getting headaches. You're like, I don't know why I get these headaches. You're hearing, oh, you just got somebody got killed. So we have to understand that is a part of toxicity. So peace and balance, a community. We are used to going somewhere and release music, dance, and that's why culture is a component of healing, just like prayer and all the other components.
Mhm.
Yes.
And I would encourage people to, whatever situation you're in or whatever you're doing, always pause, center yourself, take a break, don't be reactive. And that's what gets us in trouble a lot of times with any type of situation. Like, you have everything you need within you. Stop and listen to your spirit, guide yourself, then ask. But don't be so reactive to just, make that decision in stress or in anger. Just pause, center yourself. If you don't know what to do nothing
Mhm.
until you know what to do.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, that's just one of the things that we're educating and teaching people about the body. The body has rules.
Yes.
The body has rules. And so we're hoping that this was a good interview for you guys.
Yes.
And I love what you're doing. I love what you're doing. And I thank you for bringing light to small businesses like ours. And we really appreciate
And
that.
and maybe in the future we can host an event from the retreat. You guys can have
Yes.
your own bungalows.
Yes.
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 Come,
Yes.
yes.
Say
We're
no
gonna
more.
claim
Chef is
that.
already.
Oh
We should just
yeah,
look
that's
at each
right.
other through the
Right?
Yeah,
screen.
we'll
We
have
don't
the
have to
food
talk.
menu. That's
Yes.
right.
Yes, yes. I want to make sure because we've been getting a lot of chat. Our fam is very vocal and they get in and they're engaging because that's a part of community. It's
Yes.
not us being here talking heads. It's not us here educating. It's here engaging and thinking about it. I know I asked for a general, and thank you for that because we want to be able to come back live. But Chef, I want you to finish and say what you have to say, but then can you check the chat so we can make sure we get answers?
Absolutely, yes. That concluded the quick fire. You both did amazing. Very, very, very nourishing couple you are. Thank you
Thank
so much for all that you do and all that you are. May you continue to flourish. But yes, I just want to scan the chat really quick because there have been a few that came. We're just getting a lot of agreement here. Such an excellent interview. Wow, I love all their suggestions. That part, stressors. I have been blessed today by all of you. Thank you. God bless you all. Thank you so much, Darlene. Thank you for being here. I'm loving this from Omar. That's real. And if I can scroll up here,
There
what
was
can I
one
take?
about the stopping
Yeah,
cigarette smoking.
there
Do
we
you see
go.
that?
Yes, I do see it. What can I
Okay.
take to stop the craving from smoking cigarettes? Do you have any
uh,
suggestions or recommendations?
rhodiola is good. And the body may be going through uh, a separation anxiety process. So the person may have an oral fixation, maybe chew on licorice stick, work on breathing practices because your body is going to be used to, and then also the practice of going outside. So if you can do yerba mate for the stimulant, and you can have yerba mate one day, rhodiola one day, but also you still may have those behavioral triggers as well.
And then another herb would be lobelia. So that is like your nicotine in an herb. But then also, if you are a smoker and you want to remove all that tar and you have any respiratory issues, and you want to go to mullein, and you can also smoke mullein. So those would be those two
Yeah,
for
because
both ends. So if you want to stop smoking, but if you have effects of smoking,
mhm.
you want to use mullein.
And remember, it is the tar and also the burning, but the tar and the nicotine. So if you smoke the mullein just on a small portion, it'll be beneficial.
Beautiful. Yes, thank you so much for answering those. I think that we're caught up here. We're getting some more in, engaging, real talk, beautiful couple indeed. And we have a thank you from California Dream.
I love that. All my chakras are lit up. I mean, that's my ritual in the morning before I even get out of bed, but they are just beaming here, and I am trying to stay on my seat so people don't start thinking something's wrong with
Yeah.
me. I so appreciate this. Chef, how are you feeling? Let's tap in because we know all of us that are doing this. It takes a lot of energy, but we love it because that's what we've been blessed with, the gift. But how are you doing, Chef?
Oh, I'm doing amazing, chef. Grounded, nourished. My cup is filled because I do that every morning. So when you answered the question and said that you start every day and you take time for yourself, that resonated so deeply. So
Oh yeah,
yes,
you
yes,
have to. You have to.
And
Before
fam,
you can go out, you have to center yourself.
and
yes.
fam, that's not selfish. That is not selfish. If you are feeling like, but my family needs me, I got to get up like gangbusters out of the bed. You can't pour into an empty cup.
Mhm.
So please, if anybody's feeling a little stressed by us even saying take time for yourself, please don't.
And we should be teaching our children that. When I was raising my children, I didn't have all of that information and know how to do that. But a lot of people now, they're single parents and they have to get up, they have to get the kids to school. Reel them in, bring them in. Let's sit down. Let's do some breathing. So teach them so they can start, learning that and doing it with their family. So before you even just, oh, I have to rush out and do this, the kids, this and that. No, just get up a little bit earlier, center your kids with you, and start that practice
Mhm.
so they can go to school and have that peace
Mhm.
within.
Mhm.
Sharon and Omar, this has been such a delicious, nourishing, and enlightening conversation. We always ask, one, will you come back?
Of course, of course.
Because you've got so much going on. And I know that, by the time you get off here, you're off and running.
We have another
And
meeting.
yes. And was there anything we didn't ask you that you would like to share with the family and those, remember, that are going to be listening later? Is there a message or just a thought right now in this moment that you would like to share?
Just for me, like I said, I'm very blessed to be here. Um, and we just encourage people to get to know themselves, get to know your body, get back to nature, stop using technology so much. It's taking us away from who we are. We're electromagnetic beings and nature needs nature. And so I would just say start with that in the mornings, center yourself, love yourself, meditate, pray, and then just go about your day. And if you have any questions, we're here in the community. We love when our customers come in and ask questions. We have 3 herbalists at the desk, and we don't just sell herbs. We actually educate you at the desk so you can get a lot more information, which I have told my herbalists. But anyway, they love doing that. They love seeing the hope when they walk out of their door with their herbs and just the reward that comes back, months later or weeks later, after utilizing those herbs, and they have that wellness,
Mhm.
as you say. Um, it's we love it. It's so rewarding and fulfilling for us. And so just know who you are. Just know yourself, know your body. Your body has rules, learn that. And so and you'll be all right.
We thank you for that, Sharon. I'm not putting you on the spot, so I'm going to include Omar in this. We always say to our fam before we finish, to walk out in your brilliance. You said something that really tapped in with me, Sharon, and you said just pause. Some people don't know how to pause. Before we leave, can you just lead us in a simple 10-second pause?
Um, sure.
Thank
Help me
you.
out, Laura. So for me, my husband know I'm get very much um, anxiety, right? So if anything like
You put
comes
on the
on, you
spot.
put me on the spot, I'll get anxiety. So then I'll just pause for a second. I'll stop, and then I'll just breathe. Deep breaths to the gut. You want to inflate your stomach. Take a deep breath, hold it, and then let it out through your mouth. Another deep breath, inflate your stomach. Breathe through your mouth. Exhale. Inflate your stomach again. Deep breath in. And then you want to exhale through your mouth. And you want to let your stomach go all the way back as far as you can get it. Getting all of it out there. Just exhaling everything out of your lungs. And then you just want to pause. And if you're in a situation where you don't know what to do, you just sit with yourself. You think, you pray to yourself, you pray to God for clarity. I need the answers.
Mhm.
And then you just listen to yourself, listen to God. And then if you then you can kind of like if you need to ask somebody, if you need to call somebody, if you need any of your support system, if you don't have that support system around, you have to be your support system and God has to be your support system. But what you don't want to do is just immediately run and jump into something without pausing. I had a girl, she was trying to learn how to pause, so she would put a bracelet on her and it said pause. And that was her reminder throughout the day, right? And so we were selling that at one point and it was very effective, but we don't have that. So you just have to learn and practice that. The more you practice that, the more you practice that, you will always find yourself in a situation where you can just stop and breathe first and then move. And then you're in a state of peace. So now you can think a little bit more with clarity.
Thank you. You and Umaar have blessed us with so many gems and gifts, but this right here, the moment that you gave everybody, and then those that are going to watch later, and Chef and I watch this 3 times, usually minimum. So, fam, if you didn't think you had time to pause, please do use this, what Sharon just took us through, because sometimes not pausing can do a lot of damage and put us in situations that if you had paused, it would have given you time to miss whatever might have been coming that wouldn't be so positive, or gift you.
Right.
So
That part, yeah.
gift you is more important, but we really need to start recognizing the pause and the power in it. And again, I want to thank Sharon and Umaar Askia for joining us from Nappily Naturals and Apothecary with the farm retreat coming and Chef Sesabek and I out there. Or those of you that want to go, you're in Texas. I'm like, why not LA? Why not LA? But I think I know and I appreciate it. And just stay in tap and in tune with Nappily Naturals. I will be putting up the post for the replay later today because I do some things. We're going to have some clips that you can find in our stories. So please tap in, turn on your notifications for all of us so you see what's happening. They have already promised, Chef, we got it on recording. We've got them, that they would
Yes.
come back. We have
Yes.
a method to our madness and we send you blessings. We celebrate you. Whatever you're going out into your day today to do, Sharon and Umaar, we hope this also was somewhat of a gift to
It
you.
was. Absolutely. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. And family, thank you for joining us. You could be anywhere and you chose to be with us. We see those who have hung in and those had to leave and do their thing. You can watch it again fully and not be so engaged like Chef and I are. I have to sit and watch it. Chef, let's close it out. Why don't you take it away and close it out for the fam?
Oh my goodness. Wow. Nourished is the word of the day. I
Yes.
feel deeply nourished, and I trust that everyone viewing this feels equally, if not better. Yes, you know where to find us next week, same time, same place, and peace, blessings, and so much love to you all. Thank you, Sharon and Umaar.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Nice meeting you.
Likewise.
You too. We'll see you again. I might be walking up in that store in a couple of weeks, so don't be
Please
surprised.
do. Please
Thank
do.
you.
We'd love to meet you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
You guys have a
Bye,
good rest of your day.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Peace.